What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of Fishing Grubs. We ain't fishing today, folks. We're going to be fixing some rusty rocker panels, and these things were gross. Ladies and gentlemen, we bought a 2004 Dodge Caravan. Should we have bought the thing? Who knows? But we are going to be converting it into a camper van of some sort. We got some issues that came up while fixing these rocker panels, so I'd like your input on what you think we should do with that. Later on in the video we get to it, but right now I'd like to say thank you to everyone that helped get me to this point. I, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. You guys know, if you know, that we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. We lost our car and now we are like SOL, and thanks to you guys and some hard work from me, you know, we were able to save up money and get this thing almost immediately, which is amazing. Huge thanks to everyone that donated. Very special thank you to our boys Maxie and Danny. You guys have sent money up to Rhode Island a couple times and you haven't even come up yourself, and I'm super thankful. Another very special thank you to our boy Bob, who does not use Venmo and specifically brought money to CRAFTY One just to drop off for this van build. You know, my gratitude is just through the roof. I can't even believe it. So anyways, let's get into what is going on with this car and what we were doing. So we bought this 2004 Dodge Caravan, and before we got it, I went and did an inspection on it, saw the rusty rocker panels. That's all that they talked about in the Craigslist ad, and a little bit of a hole in the muffler, which I saw both of. Easy fixes, not a ton of money. So to start off getting this thing ready to be built into a camper, we need to fix these rusty rocker panels. So let's get into it. First off, these things were shot to shite. So I took a grinder, went to my buddy Jerry's house, we took the grinder, and I basically cut out and grinded down as much of the rust in the rocker panels as humanly possible. There was some foam in different sections of these rocker panels, but most of it was not there, and I just kind of like went at it as best I could with the grinder. Now really we just had to cut out as much as possible because the stuff was nasty. And it wasn't just on one side of the van. Both sides of the van's rocker panels were just terrible. So the plan is to get them all stripped out, shape it, and then fill the whole thing with foam. So after I was done grinding, I took a rust covering paint, covered as much of the bare metal as I could, and then I took aluminum tape and I taped up all of the holes. Then I took spray foam insulation, poked holes in the tape, and spray foamed in all of the rocker panels. Little did I know, this spray foam was going to take way more than 24 hours to cure, and that's probably because of how enclosed I made it. I didn't give it a ton of oxygen, a ton of room to get out. So as soon as I actually cut all of the aluminum tape out, waited a couple more days, everything hardened up beautifully. The spray foam insulation worked exactly as it should and gave us a great surface to do our Bondo. Well, here it is, folks. We got this freaking minivan for $1,500, and she needs some work. So this is step 2 to this process. It's time to sand down the work we've done and start the Bondo. And this is just, you know, part of the process, turning this thing into a camper. So let's go ahead and send away.
supposed to have a lot more time to work on that thing today. We ended up having not much time at all because we did a Jigs and Bigs podcast this morning with Fred. So it took up all of the morning. We were supposed to be getting into this. We made a big mistake. Big mistake part one. And it's not like huge, but it's annoying as all hell. A bunch of the videos I watched, these guys were using different things to make the rocker panels, to give the rocker panel shape when they put the foam in, cardboard and duct tape and all this stuff. That's what I should have done. I should have done cardboard and duct tape. It's exactly the way I should have went. Instead I used aluminum tape because I thought it would be better, a little more streamlined. I could like really see what the shape was going to be instead of like guessing with cardboard. But I could have shaped the foam after a lot easier than it's going to be to shape this aluminum tape. I can't shave it off. I just tried 40 grit sandpaper on a freaking orbital sander, and the damn thing wasn't sanding down the tape that was backed by the foam. Super annoying. So anyways, we had to leave immediately because I was gonna be a few minutes late. I told Dan I might be a few minutes late coming in today because I had to work on the car, and I didn't know where I'd be in the project, you know, when it was time to leave. I was supposed to be actually getting into the Bondo, which I didn't get into because I had to do the podcast. So Bondo is going to be happening tomorrow. Today after work, or maybe even during work or whatever, I need to be focused on getting as much of that gosh darn tape out of there as possible. I don't want the tape there because I don't want the tape ruining the Bondo bond, if you will. I want everything to hold. I'm worried that the tape will keep that from happening like the way I want. So it's like hard to even scruff up. Like if it was like scruffing up and, you know, I could get like some of it to like just, it's obnoxious. I gotta like get in there and like cut it and then peel it. So I might try and get in there with scissors and then just peel it today. I feel like that might be my best bet. And then I'll take the grinder and grind down all the stuff that's like left on the metal. It's a great idea that backfired. Well, all right, ladies and gents, it's been days, like literally days. Last time we went to work on this, we didn't have much time, and the job seemed to be quite a bit larger. I did, however, go to work at CRAFTY, and instead of using a sander to get all that damn aluminum tape I put up to shape this whole thing, which was a great plan, but that tape was on there so well. Next time I would definitely go a different route, maybe some plastic underneath, and then tape the plastic just on the sides. I mean, I don't know. That this was a bit much. So I cut everything out with an X-Acto knife, and now we're ready to start the Bondo. So I got to basically sand everything down as much as I can, then get it cleaned up, and then it's time to start putting Bondo on these rocker panels that we got rusted out. And now, like, every time I look under the car, I find something new that I didn't really know about, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, hopefully we can get this thing fixed enough to get it on the road, get it inspected, and hopefully it lasts us a couple years. After we deck this thing out as a camper, we want it to last. So, without any further ado, I'm going to get inside. I'm going to get the orbital sander. I'm going to get some protective stuff on, and we're going to get this show on the road. So we'll hit it with the 80 first, then bust out the 120. We'll see where we're at. And we have some more 120 and probably some more 120. That's great. this.
Oh.
It's Jerry.
I don't know what the place.
Christ, Jerry.
Am I recording? Okay.
Yeah. You can go back and forth between me and that.
Okay.
All right, well, we've done one friggin' section so far of this piece of shit car. And we're about to slap together section number 2. There's quite a few sections. We definitely don't have enough Bondo, so I'm going to be stopping like midway through this goddamn thing yet again. This is like the 20th stop in a row. I'm going to go to the store on the way home, get more Bondo, and just continue this mission home. Because for the rest of it, I could use like the hand sander and whatnot. I shouldn't really need the orbital sander, although it'll help. Once we get to the full paint job though, we'll come back here and orbital sand almost all of the paint off the bottom of this thing before we finish off the mission. Who knows if we're even going to keep this car at this point, guys. We really don't even know. But I'm just right now mixing the hardener with the non-hardener. That's the scientific term. You put the blue stuff with the non-blue stuff, you mix it up a little bit, you got a few minutes, and then you go. So that's kind of how we're doing it. I'm going to do this section here and maybe let everything that we have go and dry for a little bit, and then kind of see where we're at. I have like 2 more big sections to do. But Jerry and I just found a nice little surprise under the car that we didn't know about. That was probably there when we bought it, yeah?
Yeah, it probably was.
We just totally missed it. That's chunky already, Jerry. I think it's got some of the stuff in it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Bon diggity. Wow, this stuff sets pretty quick, huh?
Yep.
Alright, so we'll just let that shit dry for a minute. That's it. There she is, folks. In a bad, bad, bad place. Not the only hole I found. I knew there was a tiny hole in the muffler, but I didn't know the muffler was like completely severed from the rest of the freaking thing. Missed that. Saw the tiny little hole there. Missed the big hole there. Now the muffler, not really a big issue, but that other hole, that whole section, if that whole thing needs to come out and be replaced, the part itself isn't a ton of money, but there's a lot of parts down there that gotta come out, and who knows if any of them are bad, rusted. If I want this car to go the distance with me, I need to fix everything that's wrong with it. And if I keep fixing things and things keep being wrong with it, we can never get to the actual build of what we want. So now I'm at a point where, like, what do I do? I'm sitting here fixing these rocker panels, doing my best, and now I'm just stuck. I'm gonna go get this thing in the garage at home, and we gotta go get some more Bondo, see if we can fix this a little more. I am devastated, folks. The people that sold me this car, you for not telling me about that goddamn hole. And I know it's I should have found it, but like, also you shouldn't lie and say that one part of the car is rotted out, so all the focus on that part, even though that part's a part that doesn't even matter and is a super easy fix, and yet you don't point out the part that is not a super easy fix at all. Like, that's f***ed. And I just spent all of the money I had, a lot of it thanks to you guys. Thanks again, Maxie, by the way, and all of you other fine folk, Bob, everyone that donated funds for this thing. Super thankful, but your funds went into a giant shitbox because I'm an asshole and I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to cars. Well, it's the next day. It's like gross and rainy outside, but luckily we got the garage. I'm gonna get down there and try to sand some of this Bondo. I've never sanded Bondo. We're gonna hope that it sands well. Watched a bunch of videos on it. Should be okay. I'm not super worried. I mean, we don't want it to be perfect. It's, I mean, we don't even know how much longer this car is gonna last. Anyways, let's get to the work. Yeah. So much sanding. Well, while sanding everything, I found a couple soft spots in the Bondo, and I patched them up a little bit. We're gonna let them dry. Then we're gonna go get maybe one more thing of Bondo. I think we're gonna need it to finish this whole thing. Sucks. Hopefully I have enough money to do it. Once that's on, it doesn't look great, and at this point it doesn't even matter, right? Because like this thing's just right now kind of a money hole, which is what we were worried about when purchasing something at such a low price. And shit happens, you know what I mean? We should have found that hole. It's just devastating. I should be like on cloud 9 right now, getting this sanding done. I should be stoked. I'm not stoked. I'm the opposite of stoked. De-stoked. Unstoked. Anyways, we're gonna let this dry. We're gonna go get some more Bondo, and then we're gonna try and finish up at least what we're working on, and then do some more sanding around the entire bottom of the car, and then spray paint the entire bottom of the car. We're gonna use some truck bed liner kind of stuff, and I'm gonna spray some like Rust-Oleum down first, some primer down that helps bond, and we'll see what happens. I don't know where this is going now. This was definitely going to be the camper. Now it's like, is it going to be the camper, or are we going to sell this thing and try and get something else? I don't know. What do you guys think we should do? I definitely need some input here, because I am tired of making all these decisions. My head is like, I don't know. Anyways, if you guys want to help out, let me know. Or if you know anybody, or if you guys want to help, the part that needs to be replaced is not that expensive. Happily buy it. It's the getting it in there that I'm worried about, because if everything's super rusty, and it didn't look super rusty down there, but certain things are, now that I'm looking closer, and certain things are just fine. So could be easy, it could be a terrible job. I don't know, because I'm not a car person. So any guys out there in the car world want to reach out or help out, or just give some input, leave some comments, let me know what you guys think I should do. Should we ditch this thing? Are we gonna ditch it, or are we gonna freaking go all out? Because I had big plans for this freaking minivan. I was super stoked. Let me go and find a hole like that. Alright, anyways, back to work. Alright folks, on to the next step.
Right now, taping off everything that I need to sand. So we gotta sand like all this, all that, get it all down, and then we're gonna go ahead and paint this thing. I'm not really worried about like scratch marks or anything, because we're painting with textured paint. So in fact, like the scratch marks are just gonna help. So I might not even use 120. I might just go straight 80 with this thing. Because to be honest, we're using textured truck liner, truck bottom paint. So it should work. I don't know. We'll let you know in a couple years, or maybe a year, maybe even 6 months when it falls all apart. I'm gonna continue taping, and then we're gonna get to more sanding. Really loving the sanding.
So the sanding is done. I mean, to my standards, the sanding's done. So probably not to everybody's. We're gonna go ahead and wipe everything down with the acetoner. That way we get all the dust off. And then we're gonna tape this baby up some more. We're gonna actually spray paint the bottom of this gosh darn freaking minivan. I'm actually kind of excited for this to see how it works out, because this is my first attempt at any of this, and although this might not be the car that we move forward with, this is still a really cool, fun experience, just learning how to do something new. That's what we do a lot here on this channel, especially fishing wise. If you look back to the beginning of this channel, I had started actually fishing about 6 months before I started my YouTube. So you can actually watch my entire progression as a fisherman. So subscribe, tag along, and thanks for tuning in. This is going to end this episode. We're going to go ahead and kick it up on the next one, where we actually paint this SOB. Let's go.
Work hard, get dough. I can't get no sleep, please make my life more simple. Miles inside these shoes so I don't stomp, I tiptoe.